Hey, Karen, thanks so much for being willing to hop on and share your experience in the program so far. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I really love this because you've been in the program 4 weeks and you started having some doubts because of the number on the scale not changing so much. Can you just talk a little bit about what you've experienced so far and where you were, what you were thinking when you started having that frustration?
So basically, I did the phase 1 for 2 weeks. And of course, I saw a quick weight drop and I lost 5 pounds. And you kept warning me, saying, it's going to be a lot slower after phase 1. And I knew that. I heard you. I understood what you were saying. But then after the first week of not losing any more weight, and then the second week of not lowering the number on the scale, I should say, I started to feel really frustrated. And I felt like I was doing all this work by being spot on with my diet and my workouts and not seeing a change. So I was getting, you could say, a little bit frustrated.
And then you told me that you ended up in, you were on I guess a little vacation. You ended up in a house where you have a lot of mirrors and you also have a different set of clothes that you wear. Can you just talk about that and then your breakthrough moment from that experience?
Right. So we have a second home in the desert, and it's very warm and it's a lot different climate than it is in the beach in LA. And so I have some clothes in the closet that I hadn't worn in probably 2 months since the fall change. And it was a warm day, and I pulled out some of my old summer clothes, and the clothes that I haven't worn in probably 2 years were fitting me better than they were before that 2 years. So I couldn't believe the difference. I was just shocked at how much my body had changed, even though the scale said exactly the same thing. I hadn't lost 1 pound. Actually, I gained a pound.
You gained a pound. How many women, or even just people, men too, right, would be in that situation, step on the scale, see themselves as a pound up, and just get so frustrated? But can you talk about what was going through your head when that happened, and what made you? Because you sent me a message saying, "Oh, I can't believe it. I've changed so much." Can you just tell the story about the shift and what your realization was?
Well, I realized that you were not lying to me. I realized that you really do know what you're doing, and you warned me and you warned me, and I listened to you, but it really didn't ever sink in until I actually saw the living proof that, oh my gosh, look at how I look so different in this summer dress than I haven't looked that way in years. Super amazing. I couldn't believe it. I mean, my tummy was flat in my dress when I told you, remember when I first started, how I wanted to get rid of my tummy? And my tummy's flat. I don't know. It was like a miracle. That's how I felt.
That's awesome. But I also want to would love for you to share what you said to me when we had our coaching call, because you said usually when that would happen and you would see the scale not moving or even going up, it would. Can you talk about you said that you would have given up in the past, and I think there's a lot of people listening who have gone on programs and they didn't, maybe the program wasn't right, but let's say, hey, they were on a good program because they were working with someone like me, maybe, or that was my awkward way of trying to say that I'm really good at what I do. But just talk about what would have happened in the past had you not been in a program where I hopped on a call with you to talk you through things, right?
Yeah. Well, my background is I used to be a runner and I love cardio and I used to do a ton of spin. So my way of making the scale move was always going crazy on the cardio. And that was my measure of success, was this needle on the scale. So if that was my mindset for 20, 30 years, it was really difficult to see the needle on the scale go up. So it was very discouraging, and I felt like I did want to give up. I wanted to just chuck it all and go out and have a big fat cheeseburger or something, but I didn't, and I just said, no, I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to keep trying because Ted says it's going to work, and what do you know? It worked.
Yeah. And how much would you say this is more mindset than like all the physiology stuff? We talked about, I've coached you through what to do nutrition wise. I've coached you what to do exercise wise, but how much would you say of this was mindset? And what would you say to someone who's struggling with their mindset about this?
I would say don't give up. I would say hang in there and keep doing what you're doing. I would encourage you to just keep your diet on point and keep doing the workouts, and you will see a change. Take it from me. I'm living proof. I was such a skeptic because I was about ready to just walk out the door and say, forget it. I can't do this anymore. It's too stressful. And then boom. It all changed, and I'm so happy and so excited about it. I can't wait for the next level.
Yeah, and you're just 4 weeks in, and just to provide some context, can you tell people what you were doing before? Because you were already exercising, you were already eating in a certain way where you were, you're eating clean or whatever. Can you just talk about what you were doing before and then the results you were getting versus what you've seen in 4 weeks of being in the program?
Yeah, I was lifting some weights. I didn't really have a plan. I was just trying to do legs one day and back the next and bis and tris, just kind of, what everybody else was telling me I should do in the gym. And I wasn't eating enough protein. I was eating way too many carbs. I wasn't tracking my food. And I think by tracking my food, it really opened my eyes to see what I'm putting in my body to fuel my body instead of eating for just pleasure. So I think the tracking the food and the progressive workouts that you've given me to get better over time has quickly made results versus what I was doing, which was no plan.
What were the results that you were getting? How much weight were you losing per month, or what were the results you were getting on your own?
Well, like I said, if I was really strict about it, yeah, I could lose 5 pounds on the scale, but it will always go back up because I wasn't maintaining what I should be doing. I was always losing that 5 pounds, and then it would just come right back. It wouldn't stay.
So,
too much cardio.
In other words, say that again. Too much cardio.
Too much cardio. Mm-hmm.
So, in other words, would you say that you had to work really hard to lose that 5 pounds, and then you would be like, oh gosh, I can't keep this up, and then you would ease off, and then the weight would come back? How hard is what I'm asking you to do in this program compared to what you were doing before?
It's so much easier because it's actually, I feel good because I have a plan. I go into the gym. I know exactly what I need to do. I complete my plan, and I walk out of the gym feeling successful that I have done what I was supposed to do. And I feel amazing. I'm not sore. I have energy. My frame of mind is better. And I'm just, I think also the fact that you brought up meditation and learning how to deal with different levels of stress is also really helpful, instead of grabbing that cookie or that bag of chips or whatever. it's really helped me to focus on my inner peace.
Awesome. Yeah. And that's something I bring up if I think people are open to it. I don't force you to do meditation as part of the program, but I do ask you to try it. You have this unique story where your grandmother actually got you into meditation. So it was kind of cool hearing that. I also want to, if you don't mind sharing, you had some other issues, actually kind of work related, and we hopped on a call and talked about some things. And so you ended up getting a raise in the first 4 weeks of the program. I mean, I don't want you to share anything that you're uncomfortable sharing, but could you share just a little bit about that, if you don't mind?
No, I don't mind. I was due for a raise, and my boss was 3 months late in getting my review done. And since I'm the HR person at my work, I was seeing all these other people getting their raises, wondering when was I going to get mine. And so I just said, you know what? I deserve this. I deserve this just as much as everybody else does. And so I went to her and I asked her when I was going to get my raise. And by the end of the week, she had it done and I got my raise.
Awesome. And how much, I guess what I'm asking, so for people, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, we had a coaching call where we kind of dove into things. And I, when you think about coaching and you think, oh, well, do I really need that? Is it really going to help me? How helpful was the coaching call and I want you to be 100% honest with me, and with the people listening, how helpful was it to get you to take action on this thing that was due to you, this raise that was, 3 weeks behind?
3 months.
Oh, I'm sorry, 3 months behind. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I just have to say, Ted, is that I never thought that, first of all, I would be talking to you so much on the phone. I feel like I might be a little high maintenance, but you have always been there for me. And every time you sensed that I would be struggling in a certain area, you hopped on a call with me and we talked it over. And we would just delve into whatever the issue was that I was struggling with. And you gave me tools to help me deal with all of these other things that had nothing to do with lifting a weight in the gym. It was maybe my mindset, or how I'm handling stress, or how is my relationship with my family. All of those things that are all those external things that are going on that cause us to maybe overeat or not work out or whatever. You just really, you dig deep, and you're not invading my privacy, but you dig deep to let me figure out what's going on. And that was way more than I ever expected. Very
cool. Yeah, thank you. I mean, after 20 years of being in this business, I've noticed that people, I mean, we've all heard the statistics. Most people end up not being successful keeping weight off or transforming their body. And I got really tired of seeing people not make the results. I was like, what can I do here? And so, through the work of Brene Brown and, Simon Sinek and I guess so many other people, it kind of helped me step up in that way. But like you said, I never force anybody to tell me what's going on. And so you see, I appreciate you never felt forced or like I was trying to pry or whatever, but I was just, how would you characterize what happened during the calls?
I would say you're open, you're available, you're not distracted. You truly are passionate about what you do, and you really do care about your clients.
Cool. I say that, right? I market myself, I pitch myself as that way, but I know that's probably people wonder, well, what does that mean? What does that look like? And, I'm not really good. I don't have a business degree. I don't know anything about marketing except what I've had to learn over the years. So I appreciate you saying that, because you coming on and sharing your story is more than I could ever say about anything that I ever do. And I really, it's just been a pleasure to work with you. I guess the last thing I would ask is, what would you say to someone who was maybe in your position? They know how to get results, but it involves 6-day-a-week workouts and really restrictive eating. And then it's hard to keep up. And then they put the weight back on, and then they're kind of frustrated about it. And they've heard about this coaching program, and they're like, oh God, does he really have any, does he really know what he's talking about? Does he really have the answers? I mean, what would you say to someone who is on the fence about perhaps joining the coaching program?
Well, just from my experience, I was looking for some type of knowledge and some type of education to get me to where I wanted to be. And I couldn't find it anywhere. And you were like my last chance. And I would just say to anybody who feels like they might be at that point where like nothing has worked, and they feel like they're at the end of their rope and nothing's working for them, I would say to join the TEST program and give it a try, because it definitely, for me, has been life-changing. Even in just 4 weeks, I've learned so much.
It's so awesome. Thanks, Karen. And yeah, we got 2 more months. We've got 8 more weeks to go here. And I'm just so excited about what you do in the next 2 months. And also, I mean, wouldn't you say you're learning? What we're trying to do anyway is teach you what to do so you never need another diet again. I mean, if you want to join the coaching program, we're happy to have you in it, but you won't need it to maintain the results that you get. Do you think that's fair to say?
I think it's totally fair. I already know how to eat. I know what I need to do. I know how many times I should be going to the gym and what type of exercises I should be going to the gym. I'm not done learning yet. I still have a ways to go. But I definitely would say this has basically changed my life. Absolutely.
Wow. Well, that's it. Well, Karen, thank you so much. I just can't wait to interview you again at the end of the program, and to catch up then and let the listeners know what you ended up achieving. Just can't wait for that.
Thank you, Chad.